Zionism had its first organizational expressions in 1897 in Basel, Switzerland, in Europe. Here was a man by the name of Theodor Herzl, H-E-R-Z-L. He was the founder of Zionism. He said that he was going to find the state that God promised the Jews. Listen to this very carefully. This man, Herzl, was an atheist. He believed that there was no God. He said God did not exist. Now, how is it the man who believes that God does not exist is going to find a state that God promised to his chosen people? I tell you, this man is Satan in disguise. Zionism is a satanic movement. It is devil.
Christians don't get right is that Judaism is not the religion of the Old Testament, because after the Jews rejected Christ, and before that also, but in the intervening 2,000 years, they have developed a completely different religion, whether it's mystical Judaism with the Kabbalah or whether it's legalistic Judaism with the Talmud, and there's tension and fusion, and there's an interplay between those things. But they have developed a completely different religion, and Christians have it in their mind like you've got the Old Testament and the New Testament, and the Jews just got off before the New Testament. They got off at their stop, and so they're the first episode and we're the sequel. But it's not true, because they continued to develop a religion, and so you could ask somebody, is the Zohar a Christian text? I mean, how does that have any relation to Christianity? The Zohar came in the Middle Ages. They say it goes back to Moses or Abraham, but the Zohar's got nothing to do with us. And the Talmud didn't come until 400 years after Christ. And they say that, the rabbis have been debating the Mishnah during the time of Christ, but they didn't put it down and they didn't codify it, and, they didn't complete it until 1,000 years later, practically. So Christians just really have no idea what they're dealing with. Even, Candace Owens brought this up with Rabbi Shmuley. This Rebbe of the Chabad Lubavitchers, Rabbi Schneerson, who they worship. And Schneerson is considered a messiah, and the Lubavitchers are everywhere. Kushner's a Lubavitcher. Millet is a Lubavitcher. The Lubavitchers have an audience with Putin and Netanyahu, and they were in the White House. And Schneerson believed that we're not human beings. He believes that non-Jews have no souls and we're not human beings, we're cattle, and we should worship the Jews because they're the ones that, according to the Kabbalistic belief, they're supposed to collect the shards and protect the divine spark, and it's all this nonsense. And Christians just have no idea about any of that.
Special antagonism between the Talmud and Jesus. The Talmud attacks him everywhere it can, even his mother. Mary, the Talmud says, was a whore who mated with carpenters. She who was the descendant of princes and governors played the harlot with carpenters. It naturally followed that the scribes declared Christ to be a bastard. In its article on Jesus, the Jewish Encyclopedia says that Jewish writings defame Christ. It is the tendency of all these sources to belittle the person of Jesus by ascribing to him illegitimate birth, magic, and a shameful death. Jesus, according to this article, was considered one of the 3 worst enemies of Judaism who came to an ignoble end. The Talmud says they subjected him to 4 deaths: stoning, burning, decapitation, and strangling. The Talmud also says he is now in hell, punished with boiling hot excrement. What is Christ's advice as he speaks to us out of hell? The Jewish Encyclopedia quotes Jesus as telling us above all to bless the Jews. He says, "Further their well-being, do nothing to their detriment. Whoever touches them touches even the apple of his eye." Christians, as followers of the false prophet Jesus, also deserve death. The Jewish Encyclopedia again recaps the Talmud's position. A Gentile observing the Sabbath deserves death. The testimony of a Christian was not admitted in evidence in Jewish courts, and an Israelite who found anything belonging to one who was a Christian was forbidden to return it to him.
The Pharisees, through the Talmud, thus gave the Jews an ethic which encouraged bigotry and isolation.
Most of these Christians are not familiar with the Talmud, Zohar, and Kabbalah, and where this 613 mitzvot comes from and what they're all about. So I started to study what they're about and what the Talmud teaches, and I noticed that there is actually a plan, there is a plot, and that's a plot against Christianity. Let me bring you one of the books here, The Secret Doctrine in Israel by Waiti. And what it explains is the basically secret doctrine of the Zohar, what is behind Zohar. And you have to understand that the soul of the Talmud is Zohar, and the soul of Zohar is Kabbalah. But in this particular book, I just want to read you a little bit what got me understanding what the plot is against Christianity, it says here, according to the Midrash Talpigoth, the Messiah will bring eternal peace, which of course was understood by the Israelites as peace for Israel, plus that which may follow extermination for all who did not enter by conversion into the house of Jacob. So basically what they teach is that if Gentiles or Christians do not attach themselves to the Jews, they will be exterminated. And of course, we are well known for our Noahide laws that we brought this to a light. So then you go to Talmud and you start reading what is the plan for Gentiles. You see, Judaism is a two-tier system. Judaism puts the wall of partition back. It's the Jews and non-Jews. And according to Judaism, non-Jews are different species. Now, they are building their own kingdom. It's the Jewish earthly kingdom with headquarters in Jerusalem, where their AI Messiah will be, and they're going to rule the world through the law. You know, it will be international, one law. One religion, basically, Luciferian religion. So yes, in a Talmud, this is the Jewish earthly kingdom, and this is why the Zionist Christianity have embraced Kiliism, which is a focus on earthly millennial kingdom. And this is how Jews and Christians are getting together, and Christians are so deceived, thinking that they are working for the good thing, for the Jews, like they're helping the Jews. The Jews are supposed to get this kingdom. Yet this is Zoharic doctrine, and it does not have good intention. As I said, that they want to rule the world, they want to get Gentile riches, and they want to rule the Gentiles. They don't consider Gentiles fully human beings. And in fact, as an end game, they have this strange doctrine, Adam Kadmon doctrine, which Adam Kadmon originally was, according to Zohar and Talmud, he was androgynous. It was male-female in one body, and this is why you see this transgender agenda today, and there are laws, very serious laws, passing in Alberta, Canada.
Is Zionism behind the transgender movement?
Yes, it gets its origin in Zionism, and it gets its origin in the Talmud, Zohar, and Kabbalah. It's a Kabbalistic doctrine of Adam Kadmon, which is eventually they have this doctrine called Tikkun Olam, repairing the world. So how do they want to repair the world? They want to bring it to the original. Who was original Adam? He was androgynous. So now they're putting specific things in food and drink, and they're basically their end game is to make humans that on earth that will survive whatever it is they're bringing androgynous.